I thought that was crazy, man. When she saw Vision as he was gray, his head crushed in, the
And the
stone.
way he was looking at it,
I was
he was
just like,
looking
yo,
like,
man.
what's wrong? Like, what's
Okay,
wrong with you? Like, dude, you got a big old hole in your head.
Okay, so
and you dead.
I have to know what's going on here, man. If she's weekend at burning him around, bro.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, did she reanimate him, or is he actually still a dead body and he's just slumped around and this is all going on in their head? I'm Captain Villain Black. You can call me Captain, you can call me Villain, but don't just call me Black, aka Black Samsung Charger. And I'm here with my partner, as always.
It's the Angry Black Man. Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry.
And you about to get your outlook bleaked.
We'll say that for later, man.
All right, so we back. The original 2. Yes, sir. I'm starting to feel some type of way about this, but hey, hey, it's us 2. We about to talk about WandaVision. So yeah, let's get into it. When it first came out, I think they should have gave us 3 episodes because the first 3 episodes were so slow, man. And I think it turned a lot of people off, and they were just kind of like, yo, what is this? You know what? I'm done. I'm out. So I could appreciate them going back and doing the different time periods. And I mean, I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't know there was going to be whole episodes of that. That's what kind of threw me for a loop. And I was just like, man, can we get on with it now?
Now, I will say this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go. What you think about it?
I will say this when you're bringing that up. Now, I'm a little bit older, so I remember like Bewitch and some of the older shows like I Dream of Jeannie. They were already in syndication when I was, probably like 8, right? So my mom's watching these shows. I can remember watching them in the summertime. My mom's watching these shows, and I watched them. They came on early in the morning, right? So during the week, I got that, right? So it was a little nostalgia for me. It was a little funny and like, okay, a nice little throwback, and it had a nice little modern spin to it. You kind of got because it was good to see that, but then it also had a little spin to it because like towards some of the end of those episodes, when the reality started breaking and you started seeing like, whoa, what's going on here? Like when there was something happening at a dinner party and the actual reality is a TV show, right? So the reality broke for a minute and it was like real life, right? So then you started seeing like something's wrong here, right? They're trying to react to save this guy. And then, man, I wish Second Born was here because he had a great comment about what happened in that episode and how that didn't make sense with Vision saving that dude's life. Because I was like, you know what? I never thought about that because that did not make sense for him to phase through that guy.
Man, excuse me, sir. That was my point. That was my point.
That was your point.
That
was your okay. Yes. Okay, my bad. I don't want to take that from you, then.
How do you phase? Yeah, how do you go into somebody's throat and phase something out of it?
Yes.
And when do you turn solid to not like just kill them immediately?
I want to say that the first, I agree. We should have got 3 off the bat. The first 2 was a little bit slow, but episode 3, man, boy, it picked up. It picked up quick.
I could say the second episode was kind of forgettable. Like, I don't even really know what happened. It was kind of, it was, so they were in the 50s and then they jumped to the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But could you really tell the difference? Like, I really couldn't tell the difference between 50s and 60s. Now, 70s, you could definitely tell the difference. It was kind of the Brady Bunch theme. Everything was in color. They had the bell bottoms, afros, and just that whole, but 50s or 60s, you really couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's the one with the talent show with the weird, like there was a lot of stuff going on. I think she also met the lady that was considered I guess the person to know if you're a wife, because she kind of had all the connects.
Her name Dottie?
Yeah.
So that was weird too, because she hasn't been identified. and they identified everybody that's kind of in the show, right? And they didn't have any identification with her as
Her or
Sword.
Agnes.
Yeah, her or Agnes. Yeah, episode 2 was weird, but we got to see Wanda's powers. I mean, she's just creating things out of thin air. You know, Vision was using his powers, and she's just like, "Oh no, there's a stand there," and that whole thing appears and is carrying them all over the place. So that was when I think we first started seeing, you know, powers outside of what we already know her to be, telekinetic, moving stuff around with her mind.
Yeah.
That's the first 3 episodes. We're just watching pretty much a show, like a real show. And then towards the end, you know, there was a little stuff going on, like which Jimmy Woo comes through and you can hear him through the radio, and then, you know, old girl getting yeeted. And then we actually saw at the end of episode 3 her waking up modern times and being surrounded by the army.
Episode 4 starts off because we just saw Geraldine get kicked out, right? AKA, you know, Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
So we start off episode 4 with people getting undusted in a hospital. Like she's coming back from just atoms to a solid person, and it kind of blew me away because I'm like, wait a minute.
It's a little inconsistent because in Spider-Man they just
appeared. It was like it was dope for me because I was like, man, to see somebody rematerialize from what they when they got dusted, how they got dusted, they just kind of came back the same way. Yeah. It was dope to see that, and it was a shot back out to, you know, the snap happening, and so now you're all tied into that, right? So now this is present day. You're getting to see Monica Rambeau's story for what was going on from Avengers, and you find out she was in the hospital. Her mom was getting surgery. Man, it's been like 4 or 5 years. Her mom's dead. She's back. She's back, and she's in the hospital. You just seeing people just rematerialize in the hospital. That was dope. And then to see her story, you know, she's working for Sword. She was working for her mom, and then her mom's not here anymore, so she's trying to get reacclimated to that.
All right, hold on. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. All right, I want to jump back to the rematerializing part.
Okay, go ahead.
Because how my brain works. You mean to tell me, because this has been always my question, what happens?
Yes.
Good. when you come back?
Mm-hmm.
If you come back, if you were in an airplane and you come back, are you just in the air falling to your death? I don't think it doesn't seem that way. It seems like whatever you were sitting on, you just come back to that. Okay, Monica Rambeau, she wakes up in that chair. We have to assume that in 5 years, that hospital chair never got moved, right?
Yes, we have to assume that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we have to assume that. Just like that gurney that the one guy, it was empty. It was an empty gurney going down the hall, and then this person rematerializes back on that
the gurney. Now the gurney was moving, so the gurney is not in the same place where it was. So that tells me that whatever your butt was on, your butt is going to come back on that. It doesn't matter where it is. So that poses some problems too, because
that does.
what if during that 5 years somebody sat on the chair and it broke, and they're like, oh, okay, you know what, it's broke. Let's throw it out. So they throw it out to the dump, and then it's just in the dump, and it's been in the dump for 5 years with trash piling all on top of it. And so she just comes back buried alive, man.
Yeah, you come back. You know what? Dang, I didn't even think about that. You just come back dead. You come back dead.
You come back worse. You come back buried alive. That's worse.
Yeah, no. The one you made the other day we were talking about. So what if you're on the plane, right? You're on the plane. So that happened 5 years ago. So this plane's still probably in production, right? Yeah. It ain't parked nowhere. So people are sitting in the same seat you were sitting in. Can you rematerialize inside of those people? Like, what happens there?
You rematerialize right on their lap.
On their lap, or do you just rematerialize like it? They just like you just form a whole other person. Like, what's going on here?
I mean, you got to push. I would assume that you would push that space away. So you would probably materialize on their lap. And then that plane is going to crash immediately because
double capacity.
Yeah, they just double capacity.
So any way you come back, you like, oh man, I'm back. You're dead. You came back. I mean,
like you can be like Monica, and you can get lucky, and your seat be there with nobody in it.
And your seat's not taken.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, episode 4 brings in a couple of movies. Like, I don't think we've seen this before outside of Endgame and Infinity War, where they brought minor characters together and minor characters have interaction. So we had, Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man. Then we had Darcy from the Thor movies, and even Monica Rambeau is from, Captain Marvel. So they brought all those people in, and they're kind of working together. And I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool, man. I mean, to see actual minor characters starting to interact together with. So, and they all did their little special thing to try to figure out some things. But what I liked was that episode 5, where she found out her clothes were bulletproof.
Yeah, that was last episode.
That's right, because 4 was basically a retelling of 3, everything that was going on during 3. So we didn't get Monica until right at the end of 4, because Monica was, in there doing her thing. So
we learned that the stuff that was inside of the bubble and got turned or changed came back out different. So like it stayed the same way outside of the reality that was in.
Right.
So then that kind of got your juices thinking, like, when the guy came back with the rope, the dude that they sitting in there, the rope came back as like jump rope.
What happened to him? The jump rope
turned into a beekeeper, and then she said no, and then I don't know.
Happened? Like they didn't say, did they get him back out? Like where did he go?
We didn't. All we saw her say is no, and that was it. The one thing that I want to mention, as I was talking about Monica, what did you think about the X-ray? Do you think that she got her powers as she got kicked out of there? Her photon powers?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. I think that was weird that they couldn't see anything, because I think that's leading to something, because we were promised that from this is going to lead to mutants being born. I think that there might be something to that, because when they took her X-rays, the lady said, I don't know, this is weird. It's like something's wrong with the machine. We're just gonna have to do it again. Let me draw your blood again. All her tests came back abnormal after she got kicked out of there. Now, I don't know, maybe it may not be from Wanda and exposure to, because you remember they did mention that hexagram is spitting out a certain type of gamma radiation.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing that could change people's, we've had characters that got gamma radiation and turned into Hulks. So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, there could be something to that, or it could be that she got her powers when she got unblipped. I don't know. We don't know. So we don't know. We do know that we're going to see her get powers at some point in time.
Possibly.
No, it ain't going to possibly. Maybe not in this show, but it's going to happen in Captain Marvel.
Not in this show, but I mean, you never know, man. I mean, we're still waiting on General Ross to get his powers. He was in the first Iron Man. Like I said, that was the episode that picked it up. I would say episode 4 lobbed it up, and episode 5 dumped. That was a
man. They slammed dunk that thing, man.
4 was a between the legs oop, and
toss up.
5 was like windmill, windmill in between the legs. This is the episode where we really start seeing stuff strange going on with Agnes. So she's been in everything before. We saw her kind of whispering with Herb about some stuff, but this one, she acknowledges Wanda's like rewinding power. And, this is like, what just happened? And Wanda's just kind of just trying to play it off. And then that whole thing of Vision trying to figure it out, everything that we've seen from Vision so far has been uncharacteristic. Like, this is not the Vision that we knew. Like, the Vision we knew was he knew everything.
Yeah.
Like he would explain stuff. He didn't really understand boundaries. Like, this dude was walking through walls instead of using doors.
Yeah.
So like this is not Vision. I don't know who this is. And then towards the end, you really see it where this dude just snaps and loses it. And he's yelling. Like, I'm like, yo, we never saw this dude yell before.
No.
And I'm just like, so it's like, what is this? Is this is her personality being manifested in him, or like what is he going insane now? Because one, he doesn't have the mind gem anymore, and she reanimated his dead corpse, which by the way she stole from Sword. Sword had his body for some reason
because he's a sentient. Like Sword stands for like sentient something weapons program. Yeah. He's a sentient weapon, so to say. Looks like they were using him to probably make weapons, bro.
Oh, and speaking of Sword, by the way, I have a bone to pick with them too. You mean to tell me Sword has existed all this time?
No.
And we never heard nothing? No.
Well, they're trying to say that because Maria Rambeau, right?
That's what I'm saying. So Sword has existed next to S.H.I.E.L.D. all this time. And we haven't heard nothing about it.
Yeah,
or seen it. We haven't seen it in the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. We haven't seen it in none of the movies.
Here we go with the retcon. We're gonna get this retcon again.
Yeah, I know stuff getting shoved in there. So one thing I want to say again, man, it seems like every episode there's something that I pick up. They were talking about how strong Wanda was, right? They were like, well, is she powerful enough to do that? And Monica was just like, well, she almost killed Thanos, by herself if he hadn't called a blitz. I was like, how do you know that? Like, was this on TV for everybody to watch? Like, how did you?
No, there was no camera crew there.
Yeah, I'm just like, how did you know? Like,
she works. If we going with the theory, technically she works for the man he wasn't even there.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. He wasn't even there.
The thing is, like,
wait a minute. Now, her mom's best friends with the person that was there. Could have said that, but it seems like
she wasn't there yet.
Nah, it seems like there's some beef.
Okay, we ain't on that. We gonna get on that.
There's a little beef going on with that.
No, you ain't answering my question though. Mm-hmm. How did they know that Scarlet Witch was about to kill Thanos by herself? Because when that scene happened, nobody was there watching it.
Captain Marvel was there already.
Captain Marvel wasn't there yet. She hadn't made it there yet.
Man, everybody tells war stories, man. After the big battle, people
who was watching that?
Man, you ain't see that? Like, what was watching
that? So you telling me?
You said everybody fighting. Everybody too busy fighting.
They just stopped and was like, "Yo, look at chill, hold up."
They over there right there. You see that? You see that?
She marking this dude by herself. Yeah, hold up. This dude called a blitz. Yo, man, come on, get out of here. Like,
I think it was just a callback for people to go back and revisit that Endgame thing, right? So, like, y'all do remember that she had Thanos up and that dude had to call a blitz down. Like, y'all do remember she was about to kill this dude.
Go ahead and talk about your point you was trying to make earlier with
when they, in the last episode where they're just kind of going over, they're talking about Scarlet Witch's power, right?
Yeah.
And then they mentioned, her mom's best friend. And she just kind of like, she ain't talking about that girl. Like, man, get out of here with that. Like, and then like Jimmy Woo took a step back, like, yo, that's like your mom's best friend. Like, what's up with that? Like,
what happened?
Like, she's like, I ain't trying to talk about that. So I don't know what happened with her and Captain Marvel, but it's just a little beef. You know what I'm saying? It could be that she might think like, well, man, that was your best friend and she died of cancer and you couldn't show up to see her off or anything or something like that. It could be something like that.
Well, we don't know. Maybe she was there. The thing is that we don't know what happened in between.
Well, yeah, she don't know because she got blipped and Marvel was still here. So Marvel could have been there the whole time. She just doesn't know. Who knows, man?
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, well, she's, I guess the thing is she has been off world this whole time because that's how they explained it. That's why we didn't see her in Avengers 1. Where New York City and the whole world almost got destroyed. We didn't see her in Avengers 2 when Ultron was taking over and making multiple copies of himself. Like, she's been off world. So I would assume that she probably feels that she's just abandoned them and she just went off world, and she probably hasn't seen her in 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying?
That's true too. That's true too.
So
this is one question that I have, and then we're gonna revisit the big surprise. So you mean to tell me she can make babies, she can change reality, she couldn't just recreate the dude?
She did, apparently.
She didn't. She just did. She Weekend at Bernie them. She didn't like.
We don't know if that's true,
man. He is, man. He's. That's him, man. Exactly.
Okay, so spoilers, everybody. So if you ain't seen it, you can stop watching this. We won't be offended at all. I'll say you just got your outlook bleak, and have a good night. But so episode 5 ends, and it's ending, and I'm thinking, okay, this has been a crazy episode. We done learned all this stuff so far. Vision's out here yelling, and the credits start rolling, and they're still yelling.
Yes, like that's the weird part. Like, you thinking it's going off, right? They're still yelling.
Yeah. Doorbell rings. You see her open the door. She looks shocked. You see it from the back of the head. And I kind of knew, oh, that's Quicksilver. Oh, that's cool. Well, I kind of figured they'd bring him back. If she can bring back Vision, why can't she bring back Quicksilver? Pans around to the front of him, and it's Evan Peters, man. Fox's version of Quicksilver. And I was just like, yo.
What are we doing here?
Yo. This is my exact reaction. I was like, yo. And I turned around, and I was like, oh, that's
but
crazy,
she was even surprised.
She was
looking at him like, wait a minute.
It's like something's not right, but something is right.
This is my brother, but this is how I remember him. Like, what is going on here? So, man, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either, man.
Man, I started to just get like, are we going to be bringing in characters from Fox? Like, are we gonna get that brand of X-Men? Like, I mean, it was definitely a shocker. It was dope. Man. It was nice seeing. I was like, yo, because then your mind starts traveling. Like, what are they doing? What's going on? Like, what does this mean? That's exactly my reaction. My reaction was, what is this? What does this mean? Like, what are we gonna do? That's how I was like, man. I was like, what's going on? What does this mean? Like,
that's not MCU Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was, man. So I am super excited to see where this goes, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's starting to happen. Because that was one of the big questions when Fox got X-Men and Fantastic Four was, what is going to happen? Opening that up means all of this stuff can be canon. It doesn't have to be, how it's always been, where we recast and we start over and we just pretend like none of that happened. Like, even we can go all the way back to the beginning, what started Marvel movies with Blade. Like, that could be a separate universe. That could be in the MCU for all we know. You know, so when the new Blade series comes out, maybe Wesley Snipes can be involved. Which, side note, I watched this movie. I can't remember the name of it.
I know what it's called.
I think that pretty much wraps it up, man. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with a lot to unpack. Only thing I would say is, Disney, man, y'all got to step it up in time, man. I need more than a half an hour.
Okay, we can agree upon that. That's the only gripe that I have. This is a great show. Now, maybe not the first 3 episodes I would want an hour of that, because I don't think I want to deal with an hour of black and white. But like, now I'm like, yo, man, y'all need to give me more, man. Like, more, man. Because like, I'm sitting there when the credits was rolling the last episode, I was like, come on, man, we want to end this now. But then you slap me with the like, yo, check this out. I'm like, oh, dang, what's going on? So yeah, they got to give me the hour. Now I'm hoping that y'all gonna keep it right with my next show that comes out, because I'm gonna need an hour of that.
All right, y'all. So that's been it. Hey, appreciate y'all walking. Do all that YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Do all that. As always, I'm Captain Villain Black.
It's Angry Black Man.
And you just got y'all look Bleeked.
Hootie hoo. Yay, yay.
Always
One of them.
do,
Yay, yay.
always.